Imagine the thrill of a beginner taking an astounding photo that many experienced photographers have never done. Capturing a great shot of the Milky Way is no easy task. It requires patience, a good eye for detail, and the right software to even get started. Most people think it's just point and shoot, but to catch these photons, you need the right settings and technique. Even a beginner can capture a great Milky Way shot like a pro with these 6 easy steps. Step 1, when and where. The Milky Way is difficult to see, even in dark sky areas like Sedona, where I live. If you live along the East Coast, the odds are against you because of light pollution. With light pollution, it is nearly impossible. So where is the best place in the U.S.? The West, especially in rural areas like national parks, offers a lot of opportunities. The further south, the better. In Sedona, the Milky Way is visible from February through October. In Montana, it is only visible from mid-March through mid-May. Knowing where it is visible is just the start. Next, you need to know where to look and at what time of day. Stellarium is free software that will show you where to look and what you will see throughout the night. You only need to allow it to access your location. I use it on my desktop PC, but it is also available as a phone app. Stellarium will get you in the ballpark with the time and location, but the phone app PhotoPills will take you the rest of the way. It is just $10.99 and priceless when it comes to photographing celestial detail night or day. Check out the website at www.photopills.com to see what it can do. In a nutshell, when I shoot a Milky Way shot, it shows me a map and where I can set up my camera. Then, when I get to the place I've selected, I point my phone in the direction suggested by PhotoPills and forward the app to the correct time of night. The app will show me exactly where the Milky Way will be and what it will look like. I usually check the location at least a day before I shoot the image to be sure it is the shot I want. Step 2. What to expect. Even when you know what to look for and where it will be, it is often difficult to spot the Milky Way with the naked eye. Expect a scene like this. The camera will show your image like this, but don't be disappointed. This is just the beginning of the process. Set your camera on a sturdy tripod and point it in the general direction of where you expect to see the Milky Way. Use a wide-angle lens. I use 12mm in the maximum aperture. For my lens, that is f-stop 2.8. This will allow the maximum amount of light to enter the camera for the given lens. I shoot with a Sony a7R III. It has great low light sensitivity and no mirror to cause camera movement when the shutter button is pressed. It is always best to use a remote shutter release to avoid movement. The last exposure setting is ISO. In the days of film photography, high ISO was generally avoided because of creating a lot of graininess in the image. Early digital cameras had a similar effect because of the sensor overheating. Today, that is not a significant problem with digital cameras. I routinely use ISO 1600 for night photography. Step 3. Manual focus. When photographing the night sky, always focus manually. Don't forget to select manual focus on your lens, as well as your camera menu. You also have to select your focus area. In this case, it is center. This means your camera will focus on what is in the center of your frame, hopefully a bright star or planet, and ignore surrounding objects. Years ago, I thought it would be simple. Just turn the focus ring to infinity. That won't even get you in the ballpark, even though the correct setting will be very close to that position. That last little bit of adjustment is extremely sensitive and requires a steady hand and good eye for details. Your best bet is to focus on a planet or the brightest star in the night sky. You can do this while watching the camera screen or through the viewfinder, but I like a larger image where I can really study the details. My solution is to tether the camera to my laptop so I can see the image on a much larger screen. I set up a laptop stand next to my tripod so I can comfortably study the image I am about to capture. Once you have your focus sharp, you can scan the entire screen. Sometimes the focus won't be so great around the edges or in the corners, so you may have to make compromises, but you are more likely to get a really sharp image with pinpoint stars. Step 4, take 10 or more images. The next step in the process is to capture at least 10 images in rapid succession. My camera allows me to automate up to 5 images, so I do 2 series of images for a total of 10 images. Photoshop will use these images to create a high-quality composite image. The shorter the time frame for all images, the better the result. After about 30 seconds of exposure, stars begin to look like tiny arcs of light because of the Earth's rotation. This is commonly referred to as star trails. To ensure pinpoint images of individual stars, I never exceed 15 seconds of exposure. Since I have 10 images, I have 150 seconds or 2.5 minutes of exposure time. This gets around the limitation of 15 seconds. Step 5, stack, align, and merge images. This is where Photoshop does the heavy lifting. Select File, Script to load files into Stack. Select the 10 or more images and hit OK. This will stack all the images in Photoshop as layers. Once the files are uploaded, check the box that says Attempt to automatically align source images. Photoshop will then pick a few details as reference points to align the images. Select OK. Next, select File, Automate, Photo Merge. Photoshop will now select digital image data from all the images and create a high-quality composite of the image. Step 6. The magic begins. Now that you have a high-quality composite image, it is time to have Photoshop reveal the obscured image data. Add an adjustment layer of levels. Adjust levels to bring out the details. Add an adjustment layer for brightness and contrast. Adjust contrast. Now adjust brightness. You may want to fine-tune these adjustments, but by now the image should be looking amazing. The data is always there. You just have to know how to collect it. If you want to take your photography to the next level with more details for specific situations, my book, Photography Pocket Guide, is a great resource. You may also be interested in my other core books. I have published over 20 digital photography books on Amazon.com, but these 8 books contain the bulk of the information. This set includes a 2026 updated version of my best-selling book, Mastering Aperture, Shutter Speed, ISO, and Exposure. High-quality images of special situations can only be captured with manual settings, and they require a thorough understanding of exposure and the 3 aspects of the exposure triangle: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. For more details about my books, check out my website, al-judge-photography.com. The link is in my channel description. Even the most complex topics seem simple once you understand the secrets. Let's keep it simple.